Hey, what's up, everyone? Brad Chmielewski here with episode 193 of Shatter the Vain. Whew, 3.0 is here, 5v5 for everyone. I'm really enjoying the game at the moment. I had some reservations when 2.12 dropped. It wasn't feeling fun to me. It just didn't have that same magical, buttery, smooth experience that I was feeling from 3 verse 3, but it seems like a lot of that has been fixed in this new release, and it seems like it's getting better and better. And now having more players and people that know how to play 5v5, it makes the experience a little more enjoyable, although, that matchmaker can be troublesome sometimes, and they're working on it. Of course, everyone will always complain about the matchmaker forever. There is no way to make it perfect because really, the only way to make it perfect is you win all the time. Then you feel like close games that you win all the time, and then you love matchmaker. But that's never gonna happen. So everyone will always have issues with it. They can only attempt to make it better, and I hope they do at some point. I think ranked in 5v5 will help alleviate some of that problems we're seeing. But we talk a little bit about that on this episode, go in depth more about that matchmaker and the hot fixes SCMC is doing. To go over all that, I have Cats and Pizza joining me. She's a great Vainglory streamer. You should check out her streams, streaming 3 to 4 nights a week, later in the evenings. So perfect for a lot of those West Coast people or early mornings in the EU. So check her out. Links in the show notes in the description. But we go over everything she's doing with Nova, Girls in Glory, what you can expect from her stream. We dive into some of our thoughts on 3.0, what we're seeing, what we're playing, how we're liking it. And then we wrap up the show sharing a little bit about our setups, how I record videos, how she does her streams, just giving a little insight. Hopefully we'll see more content creators come into the Vainglory space. It's growing. And I think there's an opportunity here for anyone who likes the game. And now that 5v5 is here, we may see an explosion in people as the game grows and Vainglory gets bigger. Fingers crossed on that. But, all right, let's do it. Let's get into episode 193.
Shatter the Vain.
This is the 193rd episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. And every week, bringing on people from the community, people that play the game, stream the game, make content, and really just love Vainglory. And this week, I have Cats and Pizza joining me. Welcome.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. You've been streaming and making content in the Vainglory community for a while, so I will let you introduce yourself because you can probably do it way better than I can.
Thank you so much. I was really excited when you asked me to be on here, but I mostly just stream Vainglory. I'm in Nova. I'm on the content creator team. I'm a guild officer for Vaguely Insane, the guild. I also volunteer with VIS and NACL, and I'm a part of Girls in Glory, but nice. I stream, mostly just a content creator.
That's awesome. I guess that's a lot of hands. That's a lot of, buckets to have your hands in. So that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
So first, I guess I got to start off, what's Cats and Pizzas? How did that come about? Yeah.
I get this question all the time, and honestly, I just like cats and pizza. But at the time, when I made the IGN, my roommates had a cat, so I was really close with a cat. But I've actually rescued a dog.
Okay.
Since then, so I'm a dog and a cat owner. I like all pets, but cats was just what I had first, and then pizza. I mean, who doesn't like pizza?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Did the name come, is it an old game tag that you had for a while, or did you make it when you started playing Vainglory?
No, I've had it for not too long. I live with guy roommates, so when I ended up moving in with guy roommates, I kind of started gaming a lot more. So I played a lot of Fallout 4 and PlayStation. And then I actually got kind of sick. I got my appendix removed and some health issues. So when that happened, I kind of wasn't playing PlayStation as much. So I was kind of went to Vainglory because it was just on the iPad, and I was like not really feeling the greatest. So it was kind of nice to have something like mobile in front of me.
Right.
But yeah, and then I just brought cats and pizza over to Vain because I like the IGN.
Makes sense. So then, yes, then you find Vainglory because of that operation, or did you already know it existed and were kind of like dabbling in it beforehand?
I was kind of dabbling in it beforehand, but I wasn't really big into like iPad games. And then I became really big in, like, I really enjoyed it when I was kind of off more sick. So, and my roommates were playing with me too. I actually play more than they do now.
Okay, well, that makes sense if you're streaming and doing all this stuff.
Yeah. So it's funny because we always joke about how they got me into it, but I'm the one that plays it the most now. But yeah, it's that's basically how I got into it when I kind of got sick. But I've been playing it so much since, and I kind of just got hooked onto it. So
was this your first MOBA, or because you're saying you were playing Fallout, but I don't know if you're playing other MOBAs beforehand?
I played a little bit of Smite beforehand, like on PlayStation, but like MOBA on a mobile, no. And I've played a little bit of League, but not a lot, because I actually only stream from a laptop. So I'm sure we'll get into that later, but
yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the mobile streaming on mobile devices like the laptop or just straight from the iPad makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, no PUBG up in here.
Right, yeah.
No, could not handle that, sorry.
Cool. So then what happens, like, tell me about your stream. Like, how often are you streaming? Like, what goes on when you stream if it's not Girls in Glory kind of tournament matches?
For sure. So I'm streaming 3 days a week right now. I'm kind of doing Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'm definitely more of a nighttime streamer. Definitely like 10:30 EST time. So a lot of people from other countries actually hang out, which is kind of cool because they're like eating breakfast and I'm like 1 a.m., but that's fine. But before 5v5, I was doing a lot of 3v3, but now the 5v5s come out, it's been a lot of just 5v5. I usually like start off with a couple BRs or like Blitz to warm up and say hi to everybody, but it's mainly been 5v5 right now, just because it's been so exciting.
Do you do like just solo games, or are you grabbing people from the chat and other friends and viewers in?
Yeah, it's usually I'm actually thankful. It's usually a full party. I don't like to do privates. I've done privates in the past. I don't mind it, but I find afterwards I just get a lot of criticism from a lot of the players, like, "Oh, you put me on this team," and I was like, honestly, I don't want to deal with that. So I just play with a lot of viewers, but we just queue with the world, I guess.
Yeah, it would be nice for streamers or just people doing that if Vainglory added like a team randomizer or something that like automatically mixed it up so you couldn't get blamed for it.
Yes, exactly. I know. That was kind of the issue. And then sometimes just finding 5v5, it was like we'd have 9 people and then like early access, someone didn't have a key and we'd be trying to queue and I was like, oh my goodness, this is just too much. But I obviously like playing with my viewers, so I try to play with them obviously all the time, but just not privates.
Right, and I think having 5 people right now in 5v5, you're just getting a better match game and a more fun experience, I think, than the solo queue people at the moment.
Yeah, especially when they can all hear me. Usually it's funny, I'll be streaming and I'll say something like, oh my gosh, everyone's coming, and then everybody on my team comes to help me because I'm getting ganked. Because they're all listening too, which is funny. But it's nice playing with other people for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, and then so yeah, you get that EU morning crowd, but then because you're Eastern, you get probably the West Coast side too, as they're like finishing off their night, kind of getting ready to end their day. So that's kind of
a lot of the PST time because I'm in EST zone, so a lot of people from California too. Because when it's 10:30 for me, it's only like 7:30 for them. So
yeah, so that works out. Like when it's someone on the Pacific time zone that streams at night, it's like no one from NA is going to watch them just because it's way too late for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard with the timing and everybody. I always feel bad. And especially the different servers too, because sometimes people will come in and they're like, oh, are you NA server? And I'm like, oh, I can't play a game with you because you're not in the same server. But I like everybody that hangs out. I'm super thankful for anybody.
That's awesome, yeah. And then from streaming, like Vainglory has this like content creation program, which which helps a lot of people who are streaming just get access to devs and questions and ice and stuff like that. But I know you had some hiccups getting in, but now that you're in, how's that been for you?
Brad. It's been awesome, honestly. I've been in since December. And it's honestly one of my favorite parts about it is I've met a lot of people that don't just stream. It's content creators that do articles or videos or YouTube, where I was more just exposed to streamers.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked kind of getting into Slack and meeting new people that way, different kind of creators. I haven't been selected for any of the events yet. I've applied, but it's the beginning of the year, so we'll see. I'm excited for being in the program for 2018, especially since 5v5 just came out. I think a lot of everybody was working so hard on that, so I'm excited now to see what happens for the year.
Yeah, in the events you see Vainglory, I think there's the one going on with 5v5 right now, but usually they try to mix it up and you see different people each time just so no one's like monopolizing that. Like it's always Flash X who gets it or something like that.
No. For sure. Mm-hmm. And also timing too, because we all have to like apply for the event. So I'm sure they have to cipher through a lot of people too, right? So it's good that they switch it up, and it's obviously nice to meet new people. And everyone's been really nice to me in it as well. And I have the link posted in my Discord. I always try to send it out to people that are like new streamers, because you should always apply. Like it's nice for like you said, the ice and other things like that, and meeting new people. It's a great way to get to know people in the community.
Right. Yeah, that's something that, I wrote an article, I don't know, a few months ago about the program. SEMC doesn't do a good job letting everyone know it exists, right? Like if you didn't know from someone else who was in this program, you would have no idea that it was there.
Yes, and I was applying for 5 months before I got in, and the link that I was applying to, I guess, was an expired link. So so I wasn't aware of that. So, or as I've been told, but anyways, so I think that's been another thing too, is they had a separate NA account too, that it's all kind of coming out now. So I think it's more advertised better now, and I'm hoping more people join because it's fun.
And yeah, the best way to really just get noticed or want to apply, if you can't find the link, just hit up Wolf Hands or Gary or someone in the NA like community side on Twitter.
For sure. Gary's been awesome. He's been he stopped by my stream. He's been playing in my stream recently a lot. He's been awesome.
Nice.
He's been a really great dev.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully with 5v5 more people start making content. I think we'll see a bigger group come in. I know I've been seeing Flashes and Xenotech streams. They've had more people lately than their usual. Like, have you noticed that too on your stream? Have you been getting a little bit more traction?
For sure. I've definitely noticed I've been getting more people. I think 5v5 brought a lot of people back, or even new players. It's been like really, really good for the community. And Xenotech's streams have been awesome. Like, I love his community too, and Flash as well. They're awesome streamers.
Nice.
And players.
So I guess a couple of those things that you're involved in. The first one, Nova, you're part of their organization as a content creator, you were saying?
So I've been in Nova, the content creator team, since I think October, actually. And with that, it's been awesome, simply with just exposure too, because they host me a bunch and things like that. But last week, I helped plan. We had a Nova 5v5 showdown, which was really cool because it brought in pros like Starboy and Lone Delphi, and then kind of like higher YouTubers like Rumbly. But then it also brought cool to have everybody come together in games and show off 5v5. So they've been really nice, and everyone's super supportive there. It's really family-like.
Yeah, it seems like Nova, there's always some guild organization that like grabs a lot of talent and a lot of content creators for a little bit, then like people move on or change, but they seem to have everyone right now and are making the most, I think, noise and waves, or just like they're just producing the most stuff with their people, which is pretty cool.
For sure. Eaton was actually the person that found me out, and he's been awesome. I think he's a great recruiter, so I think he's good at his job. For sure. Nice.
Yeah, and I have some other news about Nova later here, but yeah, it seems like great organization, and everyone I've ever talked to always has positive things to say about it.
I'm actually also in a guild as well. I'm a guild officer for Vaguely Insane. So they're also super supportive. They always come by my stream as well. So I'd like to shout them out too because they're awesome. And I do love that family as well.
Nice. So you can be in so Nova, I guess that's something that a lot of people who are in guilds or orgs don't realize. Like sometimes there are guilds and orgs that like you're a content creator for this, but you can be in your own guild and run that thing. But
exactly, like Princesses in Time, and there's we're all kind of in guilds just to meet new people. It's who we play with the most, kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like we're still like a Nova unit, and we come together, and we're all still friends. And our discords can get kind of ridiculous, but they're funny, and it's good times.
Cool, nice. And then you were mentioning the Girls in Glory thing, which recently there's been the matches getting streamed. I haven't been able to watch them just because they've been at times where I'm not available. But I want to get your thoughts on the female community of Vainglory. It seems like it's incredibly active and like I almost think like a very close knit group of people that are like motivated, like more than I think other games I've seen or I'm not in like a lot of other game communities, so I don't know if this is just a normal thing from Vainglory or if this is like special to Vainglory.
No, you're super right. I also play other games. Like I play Rocket League as well, and there's nothing like Girls in Glory for Rocket League or things like that. It's definitely bigger in this game than other games, but it's really nice. I think having the Discord group is cool. Everyone can just talk about like Vainglory things or like actual other problems, and it's kind of nice just to have. I don't think we knew about each other. Like we couldn't really find each other because a lot of girls don't have IGNs like
I guess maybe gamer number one.
Yeah, exactly. Like I never really, I don't want to assume gender. So like it's cool to meet people and just I don't know, just hang out and stuff. And I think like a lot of the motivation was all around the 5v5 hype too with Vainglory because we just wanted to show off some of the cool stuff that girls can do behind games as well.
So how have the matches been for Girls in Glory? I guess the teams and streaming them and whatnot. Just because I haven't seen them. So
yeah,
I'd like to hear some thoughts on that.
I think you're good. It's cool. They've had. I haven't really watched a lot of the EU ones because they're more in the day for me, like you said. But they've been really cool with having female casters, and Angel Wolf always does a lot for the community with streaming. He streams a lot for VIS, and he's been streaming so much for Girls in Glory as well. So I think it's cool that people can just come together and play. But the games have been going really well, as I've seen. I know there's a lot of people with pros on some of the teams, so I think people are drafting against that. So it's been kind of funny to see the drafts too. And the bands, but it's cool. I like seeing people that I don't get to see play on stream actually play on stream.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because we see those pro players from the Vainglory League or the VPL now, and yeah, you don't see always the VIS or the VGL stuff, and new players are going to come into this game, and we're going to see a huge influx of that talent shift with 5v5. So, cool.
And when I did some stuff with VIS, I was exposed to a lot more of the girls that were more pro. I'm only tier 7. I'm not really that good. It's more of a learning stream when you not a learning stream, like me learning when people helping me with builds and things like that. But yeah, when I was in VIS helping with VIS, it was so cool to see girls that were in VIS teams like doing so well, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I didn't even know, like, and now it's cool to see them playing in tournaments too. So I'm glad that they're getting more things to do other than just VIS.
Nice. Well, man, that's awesome how much you're doing and involved in the community. Everyone should go check out your stream if they could.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if they could stay up late or watch it in the morning, I definitely would recommend checking it out. There'll be links in the show notes in the description for it.
For sure.
But I'd love to jump into a little bit of news about 3.0 and 5v5 that's been happening. So let's dive into that real quick.
Vainglory News.
So the first bit, 3.0 is here with 5v5. I keep saying 3v3 because it's 3 update, but yeah.
I know there's so many numbers.
Anyone can play this now. It dropped shortly after last week's episode, so I really didn't run down any of the like changes or update notes or anything like that. And there's people like Scoundrel and Flash just running down all the patch notes that probably have a little more insight than I do or the two of us have. So, but how's
for sure.
How's 5v5 been for you? You were saying you had the golden ticket, the early access, so you got to see maybe that switch from 2.12 to 3.0, which was surprisingly bigger than I expected.
It was bigger than I thought too. I was actually lucky enough to be in the test flight before it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I could play before the early access key. But from the early access to the 3.0, I found it was so much smoother.
Yeah.
The queuing was way better, which was like, I'm guessing they learned all that from everybody having early access, which is good. I'm glad by the time it came out for 3.0, everything seems to be running like really smooth. And it's been awesome. Like, I love 5v5 so much.
Yeah, that smooth factor is like important. I saw someone else mention on Twitter at some point that just feels more fluid. I guess that buttery smooth experience. But I think it upped the fun factor. That was something I was struggling with in 2.12 was it just didn't feel as smooth and as fun and as like perfect as 3 verse 3 was for a while there. It was like, I understand it's all new and I'm trying to adapt to it, but it didn't feel right. But now it feels much closer. It's still not perfect, but it feels better moving around. And
no, for sure. Definitely in game. It feels a lot better. There's not before I was kind of getting stuck sometimes in places, but definitely it's a lot smoother. And I like the new UI. I'm still getting used to it, so sometimes I'm like, where is this? But the new UI is definitely interesting. I like it.
I'm sad that the community tab is like super hidden now. That news community thing. They should just get rid of it. No one's clicking on that. I'm
sorry. No, don't say that. But yeah, it's a little bit more hidden. So maybe they'll do some more updates, hopefully, if they hear this.
Yeah. And then the couple, I guess this Team Gwen and Team Reza thing, those skins they're pretty nice. Everyone always has opinions on these skins and if they like them or not. But I think they were pretty good skins. And I like this like Team Reza versus Team Gwen challenge that they're doing. Which team are you on?
I got picked onto Team Gwen. I'm a little sad because I actually really like the Reza skin a little bit better. I like the glasses, but Gwen's one of my favorite laners, so I can't complain. But I do like that they're doing an event. It's super cool to get everybody kind of in the community trying to get points and work together. And especially on Twitter, there's been a lot of like people tweeting about it and just people bringing people together. So that's always fun.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I'm on Team Reza, so, rivals here.
Uh-oh.
But I believe, missing the notes right now, but I believe whichever team wins at the end, you will get a skin you don't have, right?
Mm-hmm. A skin you don't have. I originally thought it was either like whatever team you're on, but I think it's just any unknown skin.
Yeah, so I think the only skin I don't have now is the legendary Vox skin, so I may just wait for that one and just hope Team Reza wins.
I think Team Reza's in the lead right now, so you might have a good chance. But
right.
Yeah, I don't have all the skins, so I was a little bit worried I might get like a Ringo 2 or something.
Right.
But anyways, I think it's fun. It's still a free skin, and regardless of what you get, it's still something in the community, and it brings us all together.
Yeah, for sure. In the past, they've done these like red envelope things because it's Chinese New Year, and I kind of missed that, but I'm glad they didn't do that because there's so much stuff to click on in the UI that I forget to open chests, and everything is lit up all the time. I'm not sure. I'm just glad there's not another thing to have to check to open envelopes every day.
Yeah, it might have been confusing too with the new UI. There's just more going on, and they're like, okay, we'll just do this. It makes it a little bit easier for everybody.
Cool. And then with the 5v5, the meta it's constantly changing and kind of shifting, but T Tigers wrote this really nice piece on Medium. I'll include a link in the show notes about his thoughts on it, what he's seen, recommendations for it. Really good, like just heroes he thinks are solid. He recommends, like, one of his key takeaways from that is like early game heroes, especially jungle heroes. They will win the game. Like the Kashka, he mentions weapon powered Baptiste, which I haven't seen anyone play, but he mentioned it, so I might have to check it out.
He's so good on Koshka. Like, I was gonna say, if you didn't mention Koshka,
Yeah.
there's a problem there. But I haven't seen a weapon power Baptiste either. Might have to check that out.
But I'm gonna get him on an episode or a mini-sode of the podcast, and we're just gonna talk about his thoughts on the meta so far and this article he wrote. So go read it, check it out, but stay tuned for that. A little tease for upcoming content here.
Ooh, so exciting. For sure. I'm definitely going to have to read it after this.
Cool. And then we keep seeing these hot fixes coming from Super Evil Megacorp for 3.0, which is great. I love seeing these hot fixes because there was a time when heroes like Scarf, where it was broken. I think I made a new account on EU at that point and just played there when things are broken, and they weren't hot fixing in the past.
That's so funny.
But not that they are, so it's really good that they set this up to do this.
For sure, I think hotfixes are always good, especially with broken heroes. And I think sometimes they try to do it with matchmaking. I know it's not perfect, but they try sometimes.
Yeah, one of the hotfixes was for matchmaker, and I understand that the matchmaker is kind of broken right now because there's no rank. Everyone's like, even I do it. I'm like, oh, there's a tier 9, there's a no rank, there's a tier 1 on my team, but that's in 3v3. You could be really good in 3v3, but really bad in 5v5. It doesn't correlate one for one here. So the matchmaker, it seems way off sometimes. And yeah, there are games where you roll over the other team or you get rolled over. It happens. And it happened in 3v3 too.
For sure. Well, one time I queued against Gabe, Chuck, and Joseph.
Oh, jeez.
So let's just talk about that. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think matchmaking still needs to be fixed, and I agree that 3v3 is different from 5v5, and I'm hoping eventually they'll put a rank on that. I think everyone's still learning it, but it's always kind of been an issue. But I would like to see more penalties, I guess.
For AFKs and trolling.
Yes, I find it takes a long time to get, like, you have to be downvoted and AFK a lot before you get actually bad karma, or I don't know, I've never gotten I've never gotten
the low priority queue. That I think that's really the only thing that happens, where you're just in queue for a longer time. It still kicks you in the queue with the same people. You just have to wait a little longer.
Yeah, I would like to see that kind of fixed more, but obviously there's so many things with 5v5 that have to get touched on, that have to get worked on, but we'll see. But I think the hotfixes in the end they've been a lot better, and like you said, like with your Scarf mishap, at least those things won't be happening as much now.
Yeah, they do have to figure out the size of these hotfixes, because it is basically a new game download every time, and that sucks for people who are like in SEA or regions outside of the NA, where you have to pay for these data caps if you're even in your home internet. It's really hard. I know I've had issues where people are like, hey, your podcast is a little larger this week. Like, did you change something? And like having to check settings because, yeah, people are looking at their data usage so much more.
That's interesting. I've actually never heard about that point, but that's super interesting that I didn't even think of that as a point. But yeah, that makes complete sense that some people's data plans would be affected by that. In different. That's very interesting. I've never.
So I don't know how.
Sorry, that's a really, really interesting point.
I don't know how they fix that or solve that, or if it's more testing, like an extra week of testing to make sure some of these bugs don't get in there. But who knows? Otherwise, that's 3 gigs for this update recently. So that's tough.
That is tough. That is a lot.
Cool. Well, the last bit of news then is some esports news, and one of those involves Nova. So Nova seems like the only team in NA right now who is making moves for 5v5. We saw a tweet from Starting that he is joining Nova as their mid laner, right? I think that's what this tweet was.
He did tweet that. He did tweet that.
Oh, they're bottom laner. Sorry, yeah, bottom.
I'm not going to comment too much on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, so you know a little more than I know.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm not going to comment too much on that, but his tweet was exciting, and I'm excited to see. I know with the whole Cloud9 news too, where everybody ends up, and it's interesting with 5v5 and all these teams switching around. I'm nervous but excited for esports.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's great to see these changes starting to happen because we also got to see that Flash X is moving out of the captain role at TSM and becoming the team manager. Von C is out, it seems.
I know. I'm shocked. I can't. I love Von C, but I'm glad about Flash. I know for a while he's been talking about retiring and kind of stepping back a bit. So it's nice that he actually has the chance to do that, because I think so many people were like, you can't leave. But if teams are dismembering, I think it's the right time for him to figure his stuff out. So that's awesome. I'm really happy for Flash.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of these Cloud9 members go on the TSM side. Like, that's just the money is there for TSM to pay it. That we're probably paying close to what Cloud9 was and the prestige of it. Not to say like Nova or Gankstars aren't great, but in the esports realm, like TSM, Cloud9, they just hold a different weight. They're different caliber.
Especially, no, I agree completely. Like, since as much as I'm with Nova, I'll always be a fan of TSM. That was the first team I watched. That was the first team I loved watching. Of course, like I fell in love with Flash's roaming. He's the one who made me want to start roaming, as well as Evolve actually. But yeah, it's just interesting to see where everyone's going to end up. But I agree. I think that the old C9 members would take the prestige and go to TSM.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just seems like it. We'll see, but it just seems like the best option.
And there's no deadlines or anything like that. I think Fuji mentioned we'll be seeing more stuff for the VPL kind of coming out over the next few months. So we'll probably start to see one or two of these kind of moves or announcements over the next weeks as people start to pick things up and just make these plays.
I think isn't preseason starting in April? Am I wrong by saying that?
Right, April, yeah.
April, okay, yeah. So we're getting close there. Like, time's gonna go quick.
Yeah, so maybe they won't be locked, but they'll probably be pretty close for that preseason. Who knows? I don't know the rules if you have to have your locked roster or not, or who knows? But you're gonna.
Who knows? Not us. Not us.
Awesome. Well, that's all the news that I came across this past week for Vainglory. Just a lot of fun with 5v5 and the new update. Just trying to get my head around it and get as much game time as possible.
For sure. Same here.
Before we get out of here, I got a good a question that someone sent in.
Mailbag.
I have to get rid of the form static because the forms are gone. So hopefully people keep emailing these questions or letting me know either on Twitter or send email to shatterthevain@gmail.com. But someone posted about what's my setup for making YouTube videos on Vainglory. And I thought it would be great to hear your setup as well, because you're streaming and hearing that you're streaming on a laptop and everything, and just how maybe the two of us make it work, because honestly, once you figure it out, it's not that hard. But
no, for sure.
The idea of streaming a mobile game to a lot of people, it doesn't click as well, like, because you have to figure out how to get the mobile game onto your computer first. So
yes, that was a struggle.
So go ahead. How do you handle this for your stream?
Yeah, for sure. I'll be straight up right now. I have the most minimalistic setup.
Cool.
I'm working on building a PC. I'm hoping to have it done actually by the end of March. But right now, I only have a laptop. Thankfully, I have a capture card, an Elgato capture card.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, it made it a lot easier. I tried out Air Server. It didn't work for me. I know it works well for other people, but Air Server just didn't. My internet couldn't handle it because it's like taking it from your device, then bringing it to the computer, then streaming it out. It was just not the quick way of doing it. So once I got the Elgato capture card is kind of when I started going really hard with the streams. But I also just have a regular Logitech webcam. I ordered in a new one recently because my lighting isn't very good.
Okay.
So I ordered in the 920, the C920.
Nice. Yeah.
And then microphone, I have a Snowball Blue microphone. They're pretty cheap. They're only like $50.
And then you're capturing it with OBS or is it in the Elgato capture card software?
No, I'm using OBS.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm using OBS. Yeah, I'm not using the Elgato. I think Left Specters. He's on Nova. He's the analyst and coach. He uses OBS. Not OBS. He uses the Elgato capture system, but I just use OBS.
Mm-hmm. And then you're on. So your laptop's is a Mac laptop?
No, actually,
Okay.
funny enough, my Mac laptop, I have a Mac laptop and it didn't hold up my stream as well as the new Mac laptop I have. I don't really even know the type of laptop. I'm borrowing it from somebody until I get my PC done because my Mac could not handle it. My
Okay.
MacBook was not about the stream life.
But it's a Windows laptop then.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
I'm using Windows, which has been a time because I have everything else Apple. So
Well,
it's been a time.
Streaming on Windows in general is much easier than a Mac.
Yes. The software is easier to get. Everything seems to be cheaper and free.
I'm on a Mac. I recently got a Elgato capture card, and it doesn't see my device. I haven't had time to like figure out why it doesn't give me my device options. I'm gonna have to look into that some more. But I use Air Server for the most part. I use this app on the Mac called Reflector. It can see the Air Server basically, and I can record that image right there. And then I can save that to my device and edit the video in Premiere because I'm not really streaming that much, so I use OBS to capture my camera video, and then I just overlay those two in Premiere, add some music, and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds easy enough.
Yeah. And the nice thing is the Reflector with the Air Server, it captures the device audio because that's the worst thing on a Mac is capturing your computer sound. This is why someone like a lot of people like Xenotech and a lot of people just have issues having the iPad or whatever device audio captured to their stream because the audio is such a headache on the Mac.
Oh my goodness. I agree with you completely. My audio, so when I'm streaming, I actually don't hear my gameplay. Like my stream hears the gameplay.
Okay.
But I don't hear it. So it's so frustrating because I'm not very good. So like I like to hear things in the game and I always play with sound on. So when I'm streaming I don't have sound on for myself. It just doesn't work. So I always miss things I'm supposed to be blocking. Like I don't know, just like even when hearing Bangarang, like I know you're selected, but like sometimes just hearing it is nicer.
Yeah, it's nice, yeah. Yeah, because you have to run, I don't know about Windows, but on the Mac you have to run something like Soundflower or some sort of audio cross hack, and you can get it to work, but it basically messes up your computer for other stuff. You will now have issues forever with audio, but your stream will work.
Oh no, that's the worst.
And so yeah, it's a headache. Streaming, it's tough, and then once you figure it out and get it working, you like never touch it again. You're like, I hope this doesn't break because I don't want to have to figure out how to fix it.
It's so true. It's so true. Oh my goodness. But the one thing with me is I'm really upset I can't have Discord on my stream because it takes up too much CPU.
Oh,
so I'm hoping, yeah. So that's been a really like I obviously want to have people on Discord because I like playing on Discord. But So people can always hear me, like I said earlier in the podcast, that people like when I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm getting ganked, like everyone comes to me, but like I don't know if someone's getting ganked. So like the pings obviously help, but it's nice to be on Discord. So when I get my PC built, I'm hoping this summer it's going to be a lot more high quality streams.
Yeah, I know that I've seen other people with their Discord chat streams or when people do coaching and things like that, it just helps those people that are playing and the audience get a little more feel on like hearing what everyone's doing.
Exactly. I don't want it to just be me all the time. Like I'd like to, yeah. But actually, when I said I use OBS, I actually switched over about a month ago to Streamlabs OBS.
Okay.
Because I use Streamlabs for all my when people follow me or those things, or like my chat box or things like that.
Oh, nice.
And I know a couple other streamers like Emma Skyward and a bunch of other people switched over too, and I'm liking it. It's the CPU has been a lot less on my computer.
Yeah.
Or on my laptop, sorry, I should say.
Because that runs through the web, right? Like it's a web app?
Yes. Okay. I believe it's like an app that opens up. So I find it's been a lot easier for me, but yeah, I've always used OBS.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, everyone I think finds their own way to make it work, but there's usually like the base, like we said, with the capture card or air server for getting it off your iPad. That's the key. And once you go from there, it's like normal streaming rules kind of apply.
Yes. I didn't have, like, I live with a lot of guys that game, so my internet, I think that's why air server didn't work for me, because my air internet usage was like pretty high. So I wish it worked for me because it's the cheaper option. But
right, yeah.
But it is what it is. And like you said, it's everybody's different, but you just got to make it work.
And if you're on a Mac, like I use that Reflector software, but you can plug in through a lightning cable and capture QuickTime that way. So you basically have it for free, so you don't even have to buy an AirServe piece of software.
Yes, I looked into that because I also have my MacBook, but it didn't work out as well as this setup that I have now. But I did look into that with the capturing it.
Oh. Well, I think if anyone has any questions about the streaming setup, you can ask probably anyone you see streaming, like Cats and Pizza, if you're in the chat or whatever. I'm sure you're happy to help anyone or give advice where you can. And I'm happy as well if you leave a comment or send a tweet. And there's plenty of other people that are streaming and have been streaming for a while that are more than happy to see more people streaming, so they will help you in any way possible. Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah. I'm always excited when new streamers start. I always tell people, please DM me. Like, I'll tell you what I use. Like, I'll help you. I actually just had I did my first ever IRL stream last week. Oh, fun. And it was a little interesting, but I tried doing, I just showed people what I use for streaming and everybody was asking questions. So I'm always around, always, if people want to ask questions.
Cool. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for joining me. This was great.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun, honestly. And I was really, really honored when you met. I honestly love your content and your podcast. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, everyone should go check out your stream. Or where can they find out? You should let them know your Twitter and stream. I think they're all the same.
I know. I'm pretty consistent. Yeah, it's just at Cats and Pizza on Twitter. And then my Twitch is twitch.tv/catsandpizza.
Cool. And I'll include links in the show notes and the description, so everyone go over there and check it out. You said you're streaming late at night. Was it every night? I already forgot what you said at the top of the show.
No, it's okay. I'm doing like 3 to 4 nights. So my next night will be Tuesday at 10:30 EST. But I'm not sure when this goes live, so it might be later. But cool. Well, it's usually Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Nice. So everyone go over there, check them out. And then you can follow Shatter The Vain on Twitter at Shatter The Vain, website shatterthevain.com. Everything's get posted there. Links to the iTunes version, the YouTube version, the Stitcher, show notes. Everything's there if you can't find something. So check that out. And then, like I said, I'll be back with T Tigers here talking about the meta. And then hopefully I got the Halcyon Elite guy talking about Vision Gaming coming up. So yeah, lots of fun episodes in the works. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be back soon. Take care.
Let's get this over with.